Hey, Abby, can you hear us?
Good morning, I can hear you.
Good morning. Well, I'll call today's meeting to order. Jen, will you do roll call, please?
Tom McDonald,
Here.
Len Tutis,
Here.
Jennifer Finley, Jim Molitor, Carol Langford, Terry Pitts, Bing Matt, Ellie Bundy,
Here.
Martin Charlo,
Present.
Mike Dolson, James Steele Senior.
Thanks, Jen. Len, could I ask you to start us out with a prayer this morning? Thank you, Len. I believe we have our last minutes to look over.
No, I didn't get to do that.
think
It's
so.
look under Abby,
Yeah,
the email Abby sent you.
Abby from the 13th, minutes of the 13th.
All right, motion to approve the June 13th minutes with corrections.
Motion by Len to approve the June 13th tribal council minutes with corrections. Second by Bing.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
on, well, I guess kind of more of a question on the annexation report that I gave, they did make a decision that night to approve it. So should we include that, or will that not be appropriate?
They didn't make a decision?
Yeah, they approved it 4-2.
Yeah, that's in the minutes. Oh, I thought it was in the minutes later.
Over my report, I said that they hadn't made a decision, so maybe just take that out.
Yeah, I think in my statement, I talked about them making a decision 4-2, so it'll be annexed. So yeah, we could correct. Yeah, you can correct your statement, yes. Or leave it out.
All right, thanks. Sorry, I'm in my car. I didn't have it in front of me.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Show
Mr.
of
Chair,
hands.
I abstain, please.
Okay, Ellie's abstaining. All right, we have minutes have passed, 6-4, one abstention. Ellie? We have today's agenda, and I think we want to add anything to the agenda. Jennifer has one item for executive. Any other agenda items to add?
This?
Okay. No, we haven't. No. 2 items. I have 1 item. And any others?
I would like, Tony present.
Okay. For the hay, Tapia. Okay. Martin?
Oh, I have a item in open, please.
Was that again, Martin?
I'll have an
Just had
item in open, maybe after I get there.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve today's agenda with additions. Motion by Len. Second by Jennifer. All those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous. Okay, let's go ahead and, I want to start with my one thing. Just a reminder, Jen, we need to, not yet. Just want to make sure for the agenda on Thursday, Len has our election committee schedule that needs to be approved by council. Whatever on Thursday.
Well, we could do that today.
You could actually do it today too.
Yeah, I'll let Craig know.
We just gotta get it done this week. That was my item. So with that, we'll go into executive. Okay. Go ahead, Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Council. I guess, first thing, I just wanted to thank everybody for attending yesterday and all the help behind the scenes, and the college for providing the space, and their staff was really, well, most of their staff was really great. Yeah, it was just a really, really heartfelt kind of service yesterday. So, yeah, just want to thank everybody for that, and just reiterate kind of the broad shoulders that Vern had. That a lot of us are standing on them right now, or all of us really. So, just want to make sure that when we do commemorate this building, to do a really kind of grandiose thing, and the writers were really awesome too. So it was nice to be a part of that. So not writing, just watching. And with that, more kind of sad kind of news. One of our tribal descendants, Nikki Ducheneau, passed away. She was one of the co-founders of Big Fire law firm, along with Lance Morgan down in Ho-Chunk. Kind of unexpectedly passed away. And so I would hope that we would, as a tribe, send, I don't know what, if arrangements haven't been made yet. So if we could do an arrangement or something, and a real nice one, and send our condolences to her and her family, and the the law firm, and kind of the family here too, for sure. I got a chance to meet her a couple times, and yeah, I mean, just really, she actually was trying to work here once, and for whatever reason wasn't given that opportunity. So it was, one of those great people that, you know, she really thought fondly of this place and, you know, this is her home too, so. We could do that. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. I think consensus of the council to send flowers and Jen can handle that. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for telling us that, Martin. That's unfortunate. I do want to thank Jennifer and Ruth and everybody and Martin for all the help. do have one item for council consideration. It's just a support letter. And we've been partnering with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks for decades now on grizzly bear conflicts. And we always look for different money, you know, different grants and start up different projects like the bear proof containers, garbage containers. You know, livestock carcass collection sites and just different things, fencing for cornfields, those are all grant started type things that we do in a collaborative. And the one group that that's helped us before and sponsored trip that Martin and I went on, Heart of the Rockies, is putting in for a grant on behalf of the tribes and Fish, Wildlife and Parks for, again, funding cooperative protective measures for grizzly bear management. So it's just a grant submittal, and they want a letter of support from the tribes to do that. The Natural Resource Department, of course, is fully encompassed and endorses it. So if council would authorize me, I would just do a general letter. They do have a draft and submit it, just a support for the grant. Okay. The other item is Jen's going to help me with at the end of August. The new foundation, that's the one that I'm on a board of. I mentioned when we first started our term. It's a new foundation to put zoos and aquariums in the forefront of restoring wildlife in federal landscapes, dedicated natural areas, parks, and Indian reservations. And there was no money to actually kind of work between tribes and these zoos, primarily zoos, to restore animals. So we created this foundation as the funding mechanism to fund that activity between a zoo and an Indian tribe, or the zoo and a national park, or some other federal dedicated open space. And I'm on the board, the founding board, and we have a field trip with some of the donors that we're looking at giving to this organization at the end of August. And I'll be touring them around on Friday and Saturday and Sunday, the last weekend in August. So what I'd like to do is utilize our council budget to pay for, just like with Jermaine's Glacier Park Foundation, hire one of the Corky's buses that has air conditioning to be able to utilize that bus to be able to go tour the bison range on that Saturday and drive up to McDonald Lake and a couple other spots on the reservation for a one-day tour. It's just about the right group size. It'll be about 12 to 18 people in that group. So I was hoping to utilize our council budget for that one day. Corky does have money, but I think it's probably cleaner for us to pay for that one than rather than have him do it, because he'd have to pay one driver overtime, I think. So if council's okay with that, would ask Jermaine or Jennifer to do that for me. Yeah, go ahead, Jennifer.
I think I support that. I think that's a great idea. And I think it just reminded me of another thing, and also speaking of the communication department, I think we had talked about getting some swag that we could give out when guests like that come. And I think we need that. And, you know, when Jermaine brings those people here, those students from Indonesia and I don't know, all these other countries, they always bring gifts. And we never have anything to give back to people like that. And whatever that is, I think we need some nice gifts to give out to people when they come and visit. And then related to that, I think another tribal member recently asked me, actually in last week, 2 people asked me for my bio, and they said it's not on your webpage. And could your webpage also include all of your bios? And I think that is a good idea. So when people look on the website, they look at us. First of all, I hate my picture and it needs to be redone, because in my official portrait, there's a chair in the background and it's kind of blurry. So anyway, I don't know, anyway, I don't know who picked that particular picture, but that's another topic. But I think we should all have bios, and I think we need to give swag out to people.
Good recommendations. I concur. Go ahead, Jennifer. Jen forgot what you were going to say. Sounds good. I know there's some things we already own, even like that poster, the bison, for the bison range. That's a cool, like a little small poster to give people. That's pretty cheaply produced. It's a good souvenir.
And those cups, those water bottles.
Yeah.
I think even like a little miniature tribal flag. Do we? I think that would be a nice thing to give out.
Oh yeah, 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 buttons, pins, those are all good. Cheap. Made in Indonesia, where the Indonesian students are coming from. Sorry. Oh, look what you made for us, and we're going to give it to you. All right, we're going to go to, I see Whisper and Tabitha on. Can we have them? Okay. Okay. Whisper and Tabitha, good morning. That's Quex.
Good morning. Whisper, do you mind if I start? I think I was on the list. Okay. Good morning, members of the council. Thanks for having me this morning. I'm here to talk about the Lower Jocko J Canal Diversion project, and primarily the mitigation components of that project. So I'll give you I know we've talked to you all about this project in the past, but I'll give you a little background before I dive into what I'm asking for. So the Lower Jocko J diversion, we're proposing to replace it with a fish passable barrier that also has fish protection, or fish passable diversion that also has fish protection so that they don't get entrained into the canal for that short term before they go back into the river. And then we also have several components that are more floodplain enhancement components of the project. So the Lower Jocko J diversion is down by River Valley, kind of right where Highway 93 and 200 split is right below that. Yep, you can see a picture there. I don't know, the pages are a little bit funky. I don't know, whoever's pulling that up, if you can go to sheet 1, it's page 45 on the PDF.
Tabitha, screen share is available for you to use your pages since you added a couple more. It'll be
Okay.
easier. Okay.
Sure, I can do that. Let me see. Not seeing the option to screen share. I'm not seeing the little icon for screen sharing.
Very bottom of your screen, it's green.
Got
And
it.
it says share screen right in the middle of all your tabs on the bottom.
Do
you
you
go.
all see a Lower Jocko J mitigation plan set image?
Yep.
Okay, so this is just where the project is located, the little star right below River Valley on the Jocko River. And then this one is kind of an overview of the project. I'm mostly just going to be talking about the mitigation components rather than the whole diversion project, because that's what I'm here for. So the main diversion structure replacement, we're pulling out the old diversion and then we're filling in a bunch of canal, and then we're replacing some of the gabion structures, which are stone structures built into the river channel to stabilize the bank there. So according to the regulations under the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the tribal ALCO ordinance, those are impacts to waters and wetlands. And so we'll be impacting regulated water bodies with the diversion project. So this screen that you're seeing now is all of the proposed mitigation components. So we're proposing to, can you see my little cursor?
Yes.
Okay, so we're proposing to fill in this whole section of canal and then put the canal actually in a pipe that kind of parallels the access road. In some places it's under the access road and then it goes underneath the highway and the railroad. So instead of just regrading this whole existing canal, we would then be impacting, that's considered a waters of the US. So we would be creating more impacts if we just graded that in and made it an upland. So instead of doing that, we're proposing to create a little inlet here off the river and basically make a small kind of side channel feature here that then connects to an existing backwater feature. And so that would, right now it's just warm, stagnant water. And so then we'll have kind of habitat structures all along that. And so that would provide a lot more wetland vegetation. We're proposing that it would eventually convert to a cottonwood community, but we're going to plant willows in here to start. But with the seed bank coming down the Jocko River, we think this would expand the existing cottonwood communities. And then we'd have some overland flow that would come out of that canal. We'll remove this whole berm that would kind of activate this small floodplain here. And then this green stuff over here is actually going to be a created wetland. So we'll actually excavate down to an elevation that supports wetland. Existing wetlands are here. And so this would all be lowered to connect with that elevation. And then this would all convert to wetland features here. And then along the actual channel, there's several places that the river's hardened with riprap. So we propose to remove the riprap and replace it with a living bank upstream of the project, and then directly adjacent to the project, we'll have some bank treatments. And then downstream, there's a section here that has a bunch of riprap and it's over widened. And so we propose some brush bank and then some habitat structures, some root wads and stuff jutting out into the river to narrow up that channel and provide fish habitat. So the core, under the core and ALCO, will be impacting. This project results in a loss of 0.28 acres of wetlands and 4,089 feet of stream. And so with all these proposed actions, we'll gain 1.2 acres of wetlands and 1,900 linear feet of stream. So that would be a ratio of 4:1, which under the ALCO program, it's required that we get 3:1 ratio. So I think we're kind of above and beyond with our proposal here. And so we think we kind of left ourselves a big buffer so that we're pretty sure that we can achieve success here. So that's kind of some of the background of this project. One component that's required by the Corps of Engineers is a financial assurances. So basically they, in somewhat recent years, realized the need to have project proponents provide financial assurances that they're actually going to achieve what they say they're going to do. So how I've structured it here is I left the resolution. Well, so on the private market, when private entities are doing wetland mitigation, they usually require something kind of tangible like a performance bond. But when it's a tribal government, they'll allow a tribal resolution to cover that financial assurances requirement. And so if you can see, let's see, I put it in this resolution. Are you seeing that, or do I need to unshare and reshare?
We see
You
the
see the
background
word.
sheet.
Are you seeing a Word document?
Yeah.
Okay, so under the action requested section here, I worded it kind of vague, and I did that on purpose because I think we haven't had to do this for previous projects, so we're wanting to kind of gauge what the requirement is. And so this is basically stating that the tribes are committing to achieving all of the components listed in this 12-component mitigation plan, which I described really briefly to you. And then we'll also commit that we'll do the monitoring for at least 5 years, and then we'll do the long-term maintenance. And if we fail at the project, which there's basically no chance this is going to be 100% failure. There may be some places that we don't achieve exactly what we said, but we left a buffer to account for that. But this basically states if the project is a complete failure, we will commit to replace those mitigation credits. So I left it pretty vague, and I wanted to see if you guys were okay with that approach. And that's what I'm requesting, is that you approve the resolution to those financial assurances to the Corps of Engineers. So I know that was a pretty brief overview, but you guys can ask questions if you have them.
Just for the record, do we need to, in the resolution, state where the funding comes from?
I don't know if we do. I guess that's a question for you all. I don't think it matters to them where the money's coming from, but I could put it in there if you want it.
Might be a good idea to do that. Go ahead, Len.
Just a quick question, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Tabitha, with these types of projects, do we have some type of monitoring plan in place on how that's gonna work?
Yeah, within the 12 component mitigation plan, it's required under the core that we monitor the project once a year for 5 years. And at that 5-year point, if we're meeting all of the terms that we say we were going to meet, like that the project is on a trajectory to achieve all the ecological values that we say we're going to do, then we produce a report to the core, and then we kind of close out the file. And then we just have to do long-term maintenance like weed management. But if we're not at that point at 5 years, then we have to do some adaptive management. And that would maybe be reseeding or doing additional weed control or potentially fiddling with the hydrology a little bit. But that's all spelled out in the mitigation plan.
Okay, so after the 5 years, after the 5 years and we monitor it, and then we start to see some failing issues, is there a plan to address something like that?
Yeah, so this property is currently managed as a BPA fisheries mitigation parcel. And so how we've proposed to do it with the fisheries program is that the Division of Engineering would support the project through that final monitoring plan once we can show that it's on a trajectory that we committed to. And once we close out the file with the Corps of Engineers, then we would pass it over to the fisheries program for the long-term maintenance, since they're more of a land manager. And it's a BPA property managed by fisheries. And so at that point, we would set aside a recurring amount that would fund that long-term maintenance.
Very good. Thank you, Tabitha.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Tabitha? So you would come back with the resolution then?
In 5 years, you mean?
No, I mean, right, for this action requested.
Okay, come back with the resolution that has the funding source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
Jen?
And can she send that to Abby in Word format, please?
Yeah, I need to send the resolution in Word format to Abby
Okay.
and Jen.
And so this approach, where it's pretty broad language, are you guys okay with that approach as long as I add the funding source, but you don't need like a dollar amount or any of that?
It seems pretty safe. I mean, this is it's just them covering themselves with something that without having to post the bond.
Yeah.
So I think it's the resolution could almost say anything.
Yeah.
But the more vague, the better.
Okay. That
As long
sounds
as they
good then.
accept it. The vague is whatever you can get away with.
Yeah.
Two sentence resolution. We have to have more therefores and whereases.
Okay. That sounds good then.
So one question, Tabitha, on the so the canal reverting into a wetland, is that a one-time fill, or how will that diversion work for that?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Is that a high water fill with that wetland, or is that a continual connected stream that you're?
Yeah, it'll activate at 1.5 year flows, and so it would activate in the runoffs most years, and then it would likely draw down through the season. So it won't be connected through the whole season, but it would be connected regularly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I think we're good to go on that one.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Tabitha.
Bye.
Can we do Gary Pitts's really quick? Ruth is gonna present for that one.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on a second there, Whisper. We'll do Gary Pitts's capital equipment. Ruth?
Good morning. Okay, good. Good morning. We have a request from Tribal Health for the dental program to purchase capital equipment. Again, because we're past July 1st and they have critical need for this equipment. Estimated cost total is $24,878 for X-ray units. And they will purchase this with Indian Health Service dental prevention program funds that we've already been awarded.
Any questions? Motion by Martin, or question?
We'll talk about how much I love the dental program.
Motion by Martin to approve the panoramic X-ray unit for child dental care, second by Bing. Any further comments? Seeing none, all's in favor? Oh, wait. Unanimous?
Their pediatric dentists are great too.
All right. Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you again for yesterday. Appreciate your hard work. Okay, Whisper, you're back on.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us today. And joining me will be Emily Henry, Todd Espinoza, and Stephanie Gillen. I'm going to share my screen so you can see the document. I think we're on page 56, but I'm not quite sure how you all see it. And can you see my screen with the council agenda request?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So I'm here today so that we can ask for permission to be considered a host and participate in the Flathead Waters Cleanup Annual Event. I'm going to the next page that shows that the current hosts are the Flathead Lakers, the Western Montana Conservation Commission, which is the newly created commission that was formerly Flathead Basin Commission and UC3, as well as the Flathead Conservation District, Flathead Rivers, and the Lake County Conservation District. It is a one-day garbage cleanup along the Flathead River and other water bodies in the watershed. The cleanup will be August 12th from 9 to 3, and then they have an after party and prize giveaway. We're considered the South Lake, so that will be located at the Glacier Brewery. The Lake County Conservation District is planning that part of the event. We are asking for permission from Tribal Council to be able to participate in this annual cleanup, to be considered a host and potentially put our logo on the sign. And we would buy some prizes and gifts to be part of the raffles that go to the people who participate. We would also hand out garbage bags or plastic gloves for participants. People that want to volunteer to be part of this have to register at the website and sign a disclaimer saying that the hosts are held not responsible and follow some rules. So it's not just like anybody goes out and cleans up garbage and shows up. You're supposed to register as a volunteer at the event so that it can be more well managed. Emily has been hosting this up on the north end of the watershed for the last 2 years. And if you have questions about it, she can give us some insight on how things have been going up there. And we would use our time to promote the event and help with some of the work.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead, Martin.
I'll make a motion to support and allow the use of our seal. And we'll have a lot of extra beach to walk.
Motion by Martin to approve the tribal participation in this 2023 Flathead Water cleanup on Saturday, August 12th, and the use of tribal logo for promotion. Second by Len. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you. One clarification. Do you want us to come back annually to ask to participate in this, or should we participate in it annually from this point on?
Well, me personally, seems like it's a motherhood and apple pie kind of situation. So how can you go wrong with just putting this in your annual work plan? Just put it in your work plan.
Okay,
Have it covered. I'd put it in your, at least your SKQ mitigation, maybe fund it that way.
Okay.
One thing, Whisper, we were talking about, when we have people come by, next time you guys get extra bling, if you
Mhm.
could share some of that with Jen here at our office, we could be able to maybe give some out to some of our dignitaries, special guests that come by.
Okay,
Thank you.
got it. Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'll stop sharing.
We have Craig Barfoot next.
Hey, good morning, Craig.
Good morning. Slight camera adjustment there. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. I'm on, I guess, the last page, I think, of the packet there. I have an issue before you where the state has requested to access Gray Wolf. Did approve a 1-year permit last year, and that's because they only requested 1 year. And I could give the council an update on what they found last year too. They did report back on the collection permit if there are questions on that.
I just wondering where the bull trout would spawn.
And that was the big issue, Mr. Chairman. It does not look like the autumn stream flows would be, sufficient for that. And that's the trouble with most of these high mountain lakes is since bull trout spawn in the fall, the base flows are just tough to come by. They have found a couple of systems in Glacier where they've done this though. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Council desire, grant them another year of access. Seems like a good thing to do for bull trout if there is a chance. Consensus of council? Okay, I would entertain a motion. Motion by Jennifer to approve the waive the permit for access through North Fork, the Jocko Trailhead up to Gray Wolf Lake for the Fish Wildlife Park staff. Second by Len. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor? Unanimous. Thanks, Craig.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
wait,
you.
well, 1 second, Craig, Bing's got a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, Craig, I was up in the Southwark the other day and I went by Liberty Creek and I was just wondering if you ever got that, did the poisoning up there of those fish that you were planning on doing?
Yes, and I've been meaning to update the council. I'm actually bringing PowerPoint to the ID team tomorrow on that. And we're continuing ahead with permitting. And then I thought I'd also committed to doing something like a frequently asked questions in the Charcusta. That is still something I want to do. And then being as I'd earlier said, I'm more than willing to if you have a district meeting coming up, but we're still in the planning and permitting stages. We've applied for an ESA permit. We're going to be evaluating again in August, and we're still hoping to pull it off this autumn when stream flows are low, and they're already low, as you know, this year. So, yes. And then we want to evaluate cutthroat populations for a host to bring back in. And we've done some of that background work already. Yes. So still moving ahead and happy to answer questions or, whatever the council would like on that.
Go ahead, Bing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Craig, on that, on the cutthroat, I was I asked last year, a while back, if he was going to go ahead and put replant that meadow up there after you guys did that, and he said they were, but I don't know where that's at right now with that plan. Do you have any idea?
Yes, and that is the plan, is we would put cutthroat trout back in the meadow section. We think it was historically fishless, but if it's a place where we could secure a population, they're pretty low numbers up there, but maybe once beaver move back into the system, there's some pond habitat. It could support some larger fish, and there's some spawning habitat there. The idea so far is that we would just take fish and direct transfer them from up by Burnt Cabin, which are pure. There's a little barrier falls there, just downstream of Burnt Cabin. And that source we've tested, but not recently, but we have no indication there would be any rainbow genes there. So that would serve as the source population once the rainbows were removed. And then we would replicate that population and have it safeguarded too. So that's the thinking so far.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay, thank you. I should say I intended to be there in person. I just couldn't make it. I have a hard copy, which I'm headed to meet with engineers later today in the Jocko, if I could drop that by for a signature.
Absolutely. Just stop
okay.
on by. We'll take
Okay.
care of it.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah, Greg Spar, really quick.
Greg, come on up. We want to take care of our election schedule. And I'll turn it over to the chair of our election committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. Today, we have the schedule of events for the election that we have put together. I just emailed those to you, everybody. I don't know if you guys got them yet. If you guys could take a few seconds. Oh, okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Jen. Put it on the screen.
We also have the legal department working with us on making sure all of these event dates coincide with the dates outlined in the Constitution. And acknowledges that the council needs to approve the schedule of events rather than the election committee. So we can, I would like to entertain a motion out there
Well, I can do this, and I make the motion that we approve the election committee's draft schedule for the 2023 tribal council election, schedule events, and adopt it as the official schedule.
Second by Bing. All in favor? Opposed, same. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Greg.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Greg. Oh, Martin?
Actually wasn't, I was gonna be a separate issue, but if you want to sit down.
He's not calling you back.
No, I had a real quick one I was gonna try to sneak in,
Oh, okay, okay.
but
Thanks, Greg.
you're more than welcome to listen because it might involve you.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, I'm asking for a donation, so if you have anything to do with those, well, that'd be
Dig
outside
deep.
the office.
Dig deep. Oh, rabbit ears, rabbit ears.
So, there's a disc golf tournament in Missoula this weekend, put on by the Garden City Flyers. It's the local disc golf group in Missoula. I put the memorial up. Their platinum sponsorship was $100. I was just wondering if we could do that. They display the same banners that we had the last time, the sandwich boards with our
I
seal on.
think, Martin, it's been kind of administration's policy for these like things to just be sponsors
Yeah.
and get our name out there as
And
much
like
as possible.
And like I said, the big one, the Zootown Open, they said that we were the first tribe to ever sponsor a PDGA event. And so be good.
$100 sponsorship.
It's a plat. Yeah, that's the best one they got. That's
Okay.
okay with everyone?
Greg will handle it.
For the whole.
C note. Are you playing in it? Are you doing it, Martin?
I am. So
Cool.
coming off a second place finish, I got my last tournament. 100-degree heat, 2 rounds.
Man,
Saturday, up and down blue.
you ever get one of those cooling towel things?
I got
Oh,
I
man.
got all the cooling stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we need to go in executive session for our next item. We will move into executive for Patty.